Hi, I'm Adolfo Ramirez, and this is Antifragile Writing. I have explained before, antifragility is a property that let things to gain from disorder, from chaos, through different stressors. So when you apply a stressor to something fragile, like a glass, the glass is going to break. But when you apply a stressor to something that is anti-fragile, uh, the object is going to gain, to be stronger, to be better, depending on the kind of object. In the case of writing, we want writing that gets better with stressors. In this case, we already talked about this framework and the components of anti-fragile writing. Let me remind you a little bit about it. As you may remember, this is your writing process. You have different kind of stressors that drive, motivates your writing process, but you are going to produce chaos. You are going to produce a lot of notes, a lot of papers, a lot of little blogs, bullets, whatever, and then you are going to need any app. There are very new good apps to make sense of this chaos, make sense of disorder. That is the anti-fragile writing framework. Today we are going to talk about the stressors. So this is a little diagram about anti-fragile writing stressors. There are several. This is not a complete list or whatever. It's just a very big idea of the stressors that we're trying to find under this concept, especially in the course Antifragile Writing. Let me show you the kind of stressors that can help you, and maybe they are already helping you with your writing. For example, you have time-based stressors. For example, you can use Pomodoro techniques, this little technique that you set 30 minutes, and after 20 minutes of writing, you take a little break of 10 minutes, for example. You are writing under clock. Or the time pressure can come from deadlines. Maybe you work very good with deadlines. There are people that like to work as soon as they can, and they try to prevent to reach the deadline without working. But there are other kind of people that they really get gain, and they can work better with deadlines. So maybe a deadline is a stressor for you. And there is this kind of type or loose, and you may know about the app Write or Die, Most Dangerous Writing App, or Flow State. These kind of apps, you type, and as soon as you stop typing, everything that you have already typed, it's deleted, it's erased. We saw this in another video. But these time-based stressors help to some people with its writing. There are, for example, context-based or environment-based stressors. Some people write better in workshops. Some people write better in an office ambient. Others need virtual company and use Zoom or FocusMate or other kind of ways to have an environment that helps them work. A very good example is coffee shops. Some people like to go to coffee shops and write there. They like, I'm that kind of guy. I write very well when I have other people around that is not directly interfering with my things, and this kind of ambient works well with me. Of course, there are windows, balconies that can help you to stress a little bit your writing and get better at it. There are response-based stressors. That means that you need that someone tells you something about what you are writing. Some examples are teaching, emailing, online publishing, chats. For example, for me, teaching is very good because when I have to prepare to design a course, I start writing a lot, thinking about my students or the participants of the course. Sometimes emailing, when you have to answer a mail and you have the pressure to answer, you start writing and you can keep writing. Of course, online publishing, chats can help you to write better. These kind of stressors, the idea is to identify them and try to use them, try to systematize them, to optimize them, and work with them. Game-based stressors, rewarding systems, word count, don't break the chain. This very popular Jerry Seinfeld method or system. Pay the price. You have to this kind of apps that you use when you want to do some exercise or go to the gym, and if you don't, you have to pay money. Typing games, just start typing and you get in a mood, and then you can start writing. There are content-based stressors. Free writing is a very good one, at least for me. Write what you love. Start writing what you like, what you love, and then try to connect it with what you need to write. Those are different things, and if you understand that can really help you with your writing. Cross disciplines, try to write with the perspective of the things that you know, that you can handle, that you like, to explain or to avoid things that you don't like, or they are work or you don't love and they are a little bit difficult, but you can start from there. Some people like to be provoking, polemic, and that makes you write more. Let me see first this one. Accountability, it's a very good stressor. You can write more if you have a partner, if you do some co-writing, you like the writing workshops. Sometimes people like to have editors, publishers. If you have published for a magazine or some publication, you may have seen this very good improvement in your writing because they tell you something that you don't like, and maybe that makes you explain better your ideas. Social networks, they can work for some people. They don't work for me, but they can work for some people. Groups, maybe online groups, with virtual groups, or real life groups. And this is a very interesting emotion-based stressors. A very good example are love letters or any kind of letter of writing that is addressed to someone that is very important for you. But there are others, they are very used for fiction, but you can use it also for non-fiction. Sending emotion, you can put yourself in a situation and feel the situation to explain something. And you can use visualizations. In the case of emotion based, it's very specific because you have to deal with personal things. For example, try to use your anger to the energy that anger produces to write more. But you can also use the moods, the introspective mood that sadness gives you, to be more reflective and try to avoid things in another way. The idea with all of these stressors is to explore what of them have worked for you when writing, and try to see if you can find a way to use these stressors to get better at your writing in the first stage. Some of them, this is not a comprehensive classification or something, because some accountability, some context based can be connected with accountability. For example, you can have some accountability using the office or using workshops or coffee shops, and you can have some context-based stressors with editors, publishers, co-writing, etc. Time-based, of course, depends of the scale. You can have the Pomodoro, but you can have this don't break the chain and combine it with game-based stressors. or for example, content-based are about topics that you can write and you are better writing at, but they can be very connected with the kind of writing that you use. For example, for teaching, you are going to use a very teaching style, a very pedagogical style to explain the things better. So that can be also content based, even if you are not going to give a class or a course, you still can write as if you are going to do it. So this is a very good example of how can you use these stressors. If you are good writing for your teachings, for your classes, maybe you can start writing other kind of text, thinking or visualizing an audience for teaching and try to write like if it was for a course. That's a very nice way to find an stressor. You may think that writing in that way you are going to waste some text that is not specifically for teaching and you are going to use it for something else. But don't worry, that's the idea. You produce what you can produce with these stressors, having text, and then we are going to make sense of the chaos. We are going to edit to um, review what you write and try to get a better text, a better editing, a better writing. So this is the idea with the anti-fragile writing stressors for this framework. And that is part of the things that we see in the course. The first part, in fact, is trying to find your stressors to see which of them were better for you. Try to optimize them, to systematize them, and try to make a personal method or framework for producing more text, producing more ideas, thinking better when you write, and using writing for thinking. That's the idea with anti-fragile writing, particularly with stressors. Thank you very much.